I need to call? Huh? Will there be anybody I need to call?
You were kind enough to tell me to put a summer bill in. And I wrote.
Don't have to call. Okay. All right. Okay. They are. Okay. Yeah. So we have to take calls.
Keenan Bryn? Is that extranet? Keenan Bryn from extranet. Can you tell him how to listen in? So Facebook,
What's that?
Facebook,
Well, he wanted to listen to the whole thing, so you'd have to shut him off. Everyone.
I got Diana. Let's just go for it. Yeah, I want you to read. All right, Utilities Committee.
Roll call.
Yep.
Counsel Walsh?
Present.
Present. Counsel Lozey? Absent. Counsel Chakutis?
present.
Present. Okay, we have the public hearings. Petition of Extenet Systems for permission to construct and operate small cell wireless telecommunications in the public way attached to existing poles at the following locations: Ward 4, 184 Allen Ave, 17 Beacon Hill Ave, 68 High Rock Street, 51 New Hall Street, 57 Washington Street. Ward 5, 12 Chase Street, 18 Hanover Circle, 88 Layton Street, 27 New Park, 13 Relay, 524 Weston Ave, 17 Whiting Street, and 25 Winthrop Street. Ward 6, 16 Amory Street, 9 Bates Street, 16 Cedar Street, 1 Mall Street, 96 New Park Street, 40 Norton Street, 51 Orchard Street, 95 Park Street, Barnum and Ray Street, 30-32 Warren Street, 985 Weston Ave, and 30 Witt Street. And Ward 7, 21-25 Ames Street, 231 Boston Street, 426 Boston Street, 510 Boston Street, 606 Boston Street, 18-20 Etna Place, 9 Heffernan Ave, 9 Kirtland Street, 65 Kirtland Street, 20 Morris Street, 98 Myrtle, 62-64 Dryden Grove Ave, 4 Revere Street, 50 Spencer Street, 730 Summer Street, 55 Walnut Park, and 57 Walnut Street, and finally 53 Wyman Street.
All right, thank you. Is anybody here from Exeter wishing to speak in favor? Have your name and where you're from?
Yes, good evening. Rosanna Ferranti, Exeter.
Can you just give us a rundown? I've seen these locations before that are on here, so you just give us a rundown on what you're doing and kind
Sure.
of how we got here?
Sure. So I'll give you a little back history. So over a year and a half ago, we were before you, and we had received these approvals. And so since that time, equipment has changed in terms of what we can use to put the radios in. And so most recently, last year, we came before you with 40 previously approved locations for that equipment change. And actually, those 40 locations are on air, and they're functional in the city. So those have already been deployed. And so at this time, we're here, we're pursuing the rest of the balance of the poles that were approved to do that same equipment change that we did a year ago. The most material change with the equipment is, as I mentioned, it's called the shroud, and that's where the radios exist. And so the change is really in the height. And so the original height was about 35 inches, and now it's 46 inches. And again, that's to accommodate the radios.
So these locations, the majority of them all been approved for the previous size box,
Correct.
but we're looking to get approval for a box that's about, what, 8 inches bigger?
So it's going from 35 to 46, so about 11 inches. So yes, we thought it would be prudent to come over as a courtesy to let you know that the equipment was changing and to provide that notice to you.
Okay, all right. We'll have a seat and we'll see if any, if you have something else.
Oh, sorry. Of the 43 locations before you, there's 2 on there specifically, 9 Kirtland and 13 Relay. And for those, those were not previously approved, so we can table those and in the meantime, talk about them outside of the hearing if you'd like.
Okay.
And meet with the constituents.
All right, cool. All right, we'll have a seat and we'll see if anyone else wants to speak. Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor? Anyone wishing to speak in favor? Anyone wishing to speak in favor? Seeing none, that part of the hearing is closed. Does anybody want to speak in opposition? Anybody in opposition? Anybody in opposition? That part of the hearing is closed. Do we have any questions from the committee?
Yeah, I do.
Counselor?
We already said Relay Street was one of the ones I had questioned, but my thing is, we just got the actual poll numbers the other day. I know they've already been approved, but just to go back out and check them with the height difference, with they're changing this, I feel maybe it should just be tabled till we drive around again. I'm not sure if you had time. I know, just got it, and I have not looked at all the polls in my ward just to see the difference with the height and
Okay.
that,
So
so.
is that
I
a
think we should
motion?
Maybe
Would that
a
be a
motion
motion?
to table.
Okay. I don't have a problem with that. And when's the next time that we meet? July 13th. Is probably going to
We put it
review. We can
back
have
on.
time to look at it by then.
Yeah.
Would you be amendable to that? I would just like to be able to.
Sure, I just want
Yeah.
to explain that it's the height, the pole height isn't changing. So the pole height is the same, it's just the equipment box on the pole will be longer. So, but it won't be out there when you go and see the pole.
I just feel we just got this, I'd feel better just to look this over and wait till the July meeting to,
That's a motion to table to the July meeting, and we'll come back and we'll just review it then and go from there. Okay, so it's a motion. All in favor?
aye.
Opposed? All right, so we're tabling it till the July 13th meeting, right? Okay, I got that right. All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
May I just make
Yeah,
a
go ahead,
request? So we have 21 more locations that would finish out the balance. If it's possible, I would like to respectfully request that those be set down at the next council meeting so that they could all be heard on the 13th. So that,
We see if we can, maybe, Attorney Lamanna? If you could, so we're requesting the remainder of the sites to be set down for the next council meeting, but does that have to be brought to us tonight to be able to do that, or how does that work?
for the 13th.
As the chair, you could have those scheduled if there was no requirement for
Okay.
15-day notice. And
Do we have those locations that we can do that?
Yes, everything is all set. We confirm with Janet. She has everything she needs.
I have all the information you gave me, however, I don't have the poll
We submitted those
locations, so you may
today.
want to
Okay.
get that to me,
No, we submitted those today,
because
this
they'll want
morning.
those right away.
Okay, so do we have a motion just to set down the remaining sites that they're requesting?
Yes.
Okay, so a motion to do that. All in favor? Opposed? All right, so we'll set those down for the next meeting also, so we can kind of bundle them together. We'll need the poll numbers because they want to be able to review those sites.
Should I go ahead and send them to all the ward counselors directly? We did send them in.
If you can, it just gives
Oh,
us
that's
time
fine.
between now at the holiday and stuff to be able to get out there and review them.
No, we're happy to send them direct.
All right, I appreciate that. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, any other business on the utilities agenda?
No new business?
All right, what's the wish of the committee?
Motion to adjourn?
Adjourns, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Ways and Means Committee meeting. Madam Clerk, could you please roll call?
Counsel Net?
Present.
Present Counsel Staben? Absent Counsel Barton?
Present.
Present Counsel Chakutis?
Present.
Present Counsel Seer?
Madam Clerk, could you please read the transfer?
Sure. Appropriate $292,000 from the account of free cash to the account of supplemental reserve.
What's the wish committee?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Counsel Net?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Staben? Absent Counsel Barton?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Chakutis?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Seer? Appropriate the sum of $25,000 from free cash to the account of CFO expense to be used for audit and consulting services.
What's the wish
Motion
committee?
to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Counsel Net?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Staben? Absent Counsel Barton?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Chakutis?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Seer? Yes.
Next.
Transfer $9,210 from the account of reserve to the account of council payroll to fund a shortfall in salary lines for education incentive per the collective bargaining agreement.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Counsel Net?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Staben? Absent Counsel Barton?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Chakutis?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Seer? Yes.
Next,
Transfer the sum of $6,000 from the account of reserve expense to the account of library payroll to fund the shortfall in salary lines for education incentive per collective bargaining agreement.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Counsel Net?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Staben? Absent Counsel Barton?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Chakutis?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Seer? Yes. Transfer the sum of $5,100 from the account of reserve to the account of collective payroll to fund a shortfall in salary lines for education incentive per the collective bargaining agreement.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Counsel Net?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Staben? Absent Counsel Barton?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Chakutis?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Seer? Yes. Transfer the sum of $2,600 from the account of reserve to the account of purchasing payroll to fund a shortfall in salary lines for education incentive per collective bargaining agreement.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Counsel Net?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Staben? Absent Counsel Barton?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Chakutis?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Seer? Yes. Transfer the sum of $1,600 from the reserve to the account of the law payroll to fund a shortfall in salary lines for education incentive for the collective bargaining agreement.
Motion to approve.
Roll call, please.
Counsel Net?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Staben? Absent Counsel Barton?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Chakutis?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Seer? Transfer the sum of $1,210 from the account of reserve to the account of care of dogs payroll to fund a shortfall in salary lines for education incentive per the collective bargaining agreement.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Counsel Net?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Staben? Absent Counsel Barton?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Chakutis?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Seer? Yes. Transfer the sum of $135,500 from the Law Department expense to the Law Department revolving account to fund pending settlements.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Counsel Net?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Staben? Absent Counsel Barton?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Chakutis?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Seer? Yes. Transfer the sum of $400,000 from the account of ISD payroll to the account of capital stab account to fund the capital stabilization account due to the surplus in ISD school payroll.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Counsel Net?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Staben? Absent Counsel Barton?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Chakutis?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Seer? Yes. Transfer the sum of $40,000 from the account of parking meter receipt expense to the account of parking payroll to fund a shortfall in salary lines due to emergency staff assisting in parking enforcement across the city and assisting DPW with street sweeping operations.
Motion approved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Counsel Net?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Staben? Absent Counsel Barton?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Chakutis?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Seer? Yes. Transfer $32,000 to the veterans payroll to fund a staff shortfall due to negotiated additional compensation.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Counsel Net?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Staben? Absent Counsel Barton?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Chakutis?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Seer? Yes. Certify as an available fund the amount of $28,409,220 to the City of Lynn by the Department of the Treasury for the American Rescue Plan Act.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead, Mr. President.
can I speak on that? Before we accept this money, I know there's been a working committee that's been put together as to how this money should be spent. I also know that everybody's not quite sure how it can be spent, what we can spend it on. But I would also like at least one, if not two, counselors added on to that committee in order for us to accept this money. You're talking about $28 million. I know and I understand that the mayor may have some priorities, but ward councilors may also have some priorities. I know that some of this money can be used for infrastructure. There are some areas in our city that have major flooding issues, so some of this money could be used for that. I have 2 or 3 areas that are in my ward. I know there are areas in Ward 1, as well as Ward 6 and 7 that have some flooding issues. So I know that we are accepting this money. We don't know how it can be spent, but I want to make sure that we are a part of the process.
Okay.
So I'm making that as a motion that at least 2 councilors be added on to
Okay.
the working committee, and then when they start to make a decision as to where the money can be spent, at least the council will play a role in that as well.
Okay. Any comments or any
That was under,
discussion?
a motion.
It's a motion, I need a second.
Okay. Motion, any second? Seconded. Roll call, please.
Counsel Net?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Staben, absent. Counsel Barton?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Chakutis?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Seer?
Yes.
Yes.
Next.
Ordered that pursuant to Section 19 of Chapter 188 of the Acts of 2010, the City of Lynn, through its City Council, hereby approves the increase of the maximum base of COLA, cost of living adjustments, to $15,000 from the previous amount approved with a maximum of $14,000.
I would like to invite Mr. Frank Valiant come to the podium, explain the order to us, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Give me the opportunity to come before you. For the record, my name's Frank Valeri. I'm Tom McGee's appointment to the Lynn Retirement Board. The order you have before you is an increase to the COLA base, as you mentioned. It's under state law. It requires not only a board approval, council and mayor approval. The base for public retirees in Lynn, the city of Lynn, is, as you mentioned, $14,000. We're asking to go to $15,000. There's a way of background and the reason, the rationale for the retirement board to make this approval. Basically, the COLA benefit was established back in 1998. Lynn didn't increase its COLA base, maximum COLA base, from $12,000 to $14,000 until 2014. That was a long time waiting, but after the problems we had in 2008, a lot of systems were in that situation. But Lynn did the right thing and increased the COLA base to $14,000 in 2014. And we're before you asking for approval to go up $1,000. Boards are allowed to go up in increments of $1,000. We're here before you to get approval for the retirement board's request to go to the base of $15,000, which means the cap will be at $450 a year. I think our retirement board administrator submitted information to the committee ahead of time. It's all explained in that letter, but the board asked me to come before you and answer any questions you might have.
Councilor, you have any questions for Mr. Frank? Okay, Councilor Chakutis.
Yeah, I have one question. If the returns are so great, why are we only going up $1,000?
That's a great question. We had that discussion at the retirement board. Because we did the $2,000 increase, there was some interest to go in another $2,000. But to tell you the truth, we've had significant gains over the last 2 years. What crystallized this whole discussion was our annual statement, which is a comprehensive financial statement of the retirement board. In January, April was submitted for our signature. We noticed our assets increased $102 million over the last 2 years. So that kind of brought out the discussion. And at that time, we were told we're still undertaking an actual valuation, which is a review of all the assets and liabilities of the system, which being conducted by our actuary, PERAC, the oversight agency. So we don't have that valuation, even though we have the raw numbers in hand, that we've made such significant gains. And I can tell you the City of Lynn's retirement system has done a fantastic job in investing its gains, its assets. Its growth has been significant. Funding level has grown, and we anticipate this valuation, when it comes back, to be very positive, but we thought it'd be prudent just to go to the 1,000 at this point in time until we got the valuation in hand. And we're expecting that shortly. We'd like to revisit that in the near future to see if we can raise the base even further. It's a significant increase in liability. I think the information you got, there's a $4 million increase to liability, but our excess gains alone, just in the last 2 years, our gains have grown above and beyond the assumed rate of return by some $47 million. So the $4 million is a small portion, not even 10% of the growth of the fund. So, but these numbers all haven't been totally verified when you balance the raw numbers out with the unfunded liabilities based on assumptions that the valuation is going to produce. So we don't have the document in hand, but we felt confident that we could go at least to 1,000 at this point in time.
All right, thank you.
Councilor Barton.
Hey, Frank, I know you do business with the state, but just one quick question. Has any other board in the state gone up like she just asked?
Boards, we monitor, when I say we, I wear another hat, and I'm an advocate for public retirees on top of this, serving on the board in retirement. The Mass Retirees Association does monitor all the systems. Systems go up every year periodically, and the law is set so that when a system does well and growth occurs, like in Lynn, you can raise your base. And certainly just recently, the city of Peabody, our sister city, the board actually voted for 13,000, from 12 to 13, and they went up to 15, based on a council vote and the mayor's approval. So yeah, it can be done, but I can't speak for the rest of the board members, and I don't want to speak for them, but generally the process is the board makes the approval, and it's up to the legislative body and the mayor in this case to make the final approval. But yes, to answer your question, the city of Peabody did it just last year. They went from 12 to 15.
Any other questions? Thank you so much, Mr. Okay.
Thank you.
Mr.
Thank you for
President.
your time.
Kevin, I just want to say that I know how hard Buzzy's been working on this,
Okay.
and he works diligently. He's also a retiree of the city, but I know the work that he puts in, so I think he should be commended for this, as well as Frank. I know they put a lot of time and effort into this.
Thank you.
That, I'll let Council Barton make the motion.
I can.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Second. Roll call, please. Thank you so much, Mr. Valerie.
Thank you very much. I echo his sentiments about Buzzy's work on the school committee. A big part of any of these boards raising the base is the elected members of the board, as well as other members who care for the retirees. And certainly Buzzy is one of them. Thank you.
Very well said. Thank you so much, sir. Roll call, please.
Counsel Net?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Stabbit?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Barton?
Abstain.
Abstain. Counselor Chakutis?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Seer?
Yes.
And the final thing that we have is the laid over orders from the June 8th meeting, which were already read and approved, that just laid over.
Yes, sir.
Chairman,
Okay, go ahead, Mr. President.
I asked for a stipulation that the money for the school study that we're transferring, that the mayor appoint in order to receive that money and accept it, Councilor Jacutis, Councilor Stabbit, and Councilor Lozey to be on those committees, because those are the wards that will be affected. So I want to make sure that that stipulation is read in there. And I believe we have to vote on that, or is it, we have to vote on the stipulation?
No, but so there would be tonight's vote to go out, but yes.
Okay.
Just a motion?
All right.
for
So
us. Okay.
it was a motion that I made, but I want to,
It's on
Sure,
the
that's
order. It
still
was
there.
voted
All
on.
right.
Yep.
So we don't have to read again, it's just vote on it.
Just have to vote on it. Make a
Okay.
motion to vote.
Make a motion to
we-
vote?
a motion to vote on for tonight, or vote on it here? Okay, so I make a motion that we vote on the stipulation.
Here, second? Roll call then.
Counsel Net?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Stabbit?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Barton?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Chakutis?
Yes.
Yes. And Counsel Seer?
Yes.
Any emergency? All of them?
I'll make the motion with the emergency, with the
Yes, sir.
stipulations that I put in on the $28 million.
Got it. Here, second on that?
Second.
Roll call on them, all emergency with stipulation.
Counsel Net?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Staben?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Barton?
Abstain.
Abstain. Counselor Chakutis?
Yes.
Yes. And Counsel Seer?
Yes.
Yes.
Any new business?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right. Thank you so much. Motion adjourned.
Okay. All right, licensing committee, just before we begin, I just want to apologize for our tardiness. We had a commitment downstairs that's still ongoing, but the committee was able to make it up here, so I apologize for our tardiness. Roll call, please.
Counsel Field?
Present.
Present Counsel Hogan?
Present.
Present Counsel Lozey? Absent Counsel Net?
Present.
Present Counsel Walsh?
Present.
Present. Okay, we have the first order of business is Class 2 auto dealer, auto repair flammable transfer of ownership at 136 Cottage Street, Bay State Auto Services and Sales LLC, from Elrad and Igor Trachenko to Elrad Trachenko.
Okay, do we have those present? Please come right to the podium where you can be heard. Okay,
Elrad, so this is the new owner.
okay. You, okay, everything's in order. Councilor Walsh,
Motion to approve.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. That motion's carried. Thank you.
You can get that.
Thursday in the clerk's office, okay? Elred? Yes, thank you.
Okay, we have the extended hour license renewals. The first one, do you want me to read them one at a time?
Yeah, please, if we can have everyone here so
Okay.
that if
Six-
someone's not here, maybe we can table those.
60 Boston Street, McDonald's, drive-through 24 hours with stipulations. Is someone here? You can step to the
You
podium.
want to step to the podium and state your name and location, please, and your position?
My name is Lindsay Wallen. I'm the owner-operator.
Thank you, Lindsay. Okay. I know I've driven by a number of times. You guys contract with the outside company to maintain the outside of your business area in the whole mall there.
The mall is covered by the mall,
Correct.
but we also do additional pickup and cleanup.
Okay, thank you. What's the wish of the committee?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. With those stipulations.
Okay, 65 Boston Street, CVS Pharmacy, 24 hours with stipulations.
I'll ask you to come to the podium and state your name and position and title, please.
Attorney Peter Lyons for CVS Pharmacy, and with me today is Rocky Bennett, who's the manager of that location.
Thank you. Which location? Boston Street, you're the man.
Boston Street.
Thank you. Okay. I know I've spoken to Mr. Lyons. He has been very responsive, not just on the Boston Street location, but on the Eastern Ave and the South Common Street locations, all three locations that CVS does have in Lynn. He's very responsive as far as when Attorney Lamont or I need to reach out to him for different issues that arise over the year. What's the wish of the committee?
Make a motion to approve with the normal stipulations.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? That motion carries with stipulations. Thank you.
80 Boston
Thank
Street,
you.
Dunkin' Donuts, 24
Thank you.
hours.
Please
I'm
state your
Attorney
name
Sam
and-
Vitale. I represent Dunkin' Donuts at the location at 80 Boston Street, which is in Council Chakoudas' ward. I've spoken with her. She said she had no problems with the operation over the past year. Would hope that the council would renew. Thank you.
What's the wish of the committee?
Make a motion to approve with the standard
Second.
order conditions.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Thank you.
108 Boston Street, Burger King.
Please step to the microphone and state your name and title, please.
My name is Ron Dimmick. I'm the district manager for the Burger King on Boston Street, 108.
Okay, right. What's the wish of the committee?
Make a motion to approve, what says here, Sunday, Wednesday, 6 a.m. to 1 a.m., Thursday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. with the normal stipulations.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Opposed? That motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
116 Boston Street, Wendy's. Deb,
Please come to the microphone and state your name and title
My name is Lennison. I'm the general manager.
for the Boston Street location
Yes.
and the Linway, or just the Boston Street?
Linway is there.
Okay. Right. What's the wish of the committee?
Make a motion to approve the drive-through till 4 a.m. with the normal stipulations.
We have a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That motion carries. Thank you.
122 Boston Street, Boston Shell, gas station and kiosk, open till 12 a.m. with stipulations.
Someone here from Boston Street Shell? Please come to the microphone. State your name and title, please.
I'm the store manager, 122 Boston Street and 535 Linway as well.
And the Linway as well. We'll take Linway as well. Is that?
Let me see, which one is it?
122
Shell.
Boston Street and 535 Linway.
535 Linway,
We'll
Shell?
take both
Okay.
together.
Yes.
Okay. What's the wish of the committee?
Make a motion to approve with the normal stipulations.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Thank you.
124 Boston Street, Taco Bell, 7 a.m. to 1 a.m. with stipulations.
Yes, Valentine Vasquez, I'm the GM.
Thank you.
The
What
rest
is the wish of the committee?
Make a motion to approve from 7 a.m. to 1 a.m. with the normal stipulations.
Second.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries.
Okay, 124 Broad Street, George's Roast Beef. 124 Broad Street, George's Roast Beef.
Do we have anybody here from George's Roast Beef representing George's Roast Beef that's speaking on their behalf? We do not. Seeing none, what was the wish of the committee? I would entertain a motion to table. For anyone not present, we have a,
Make a motion to table.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? That
512
motion's tabled.
Chestnut Street, Lynn Mobile. 512 Chestnut Street, Lynn Mobile.
Do we have anyone representing Lynn Mobile at 512 Chestnut Street?
Make a motion to table.
Second.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Tabled.
668 Chestnut Street, Cumberland Farms.
Please come to the microphone, state your name and title, please.
Megan Searles, store manager.
Thank you. What is the wish of the committee?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
120-122 Liberty Street, Speedway. 120-122 Speedway.
Do we have anyone representing Speedway at 12122 Liberty Street?
Make a motion to table.
Motion
Second.
tabled. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's tabled.
3 Linfield Street, 7-Eleven. 3 Linfield Street, 7-Eleven.
Do we have anyone representing 7-Eleven from 3 Linfield Street? Seeing
Make a
none.
motion to table.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're tabled that.
364 Linway, Dunkin' Donuts.
Again, I'm Attorney Sam Vitale. I'm here on behalf of Dunkin' Donuts. This is in Counselor Hogan's ward. I've spoken with him, and likewise, he said he's had no problems the past year, and I would hope you would renew. Thank you.
Thank you. What's the wish of the committee?
Make a motion to approve 24/7,
Second.
7 days a week.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That motion carries. Thank you.
377 Linway, Wendy's.
Please come to the microphone, state your name and title, please.
Natalie Perez, store manager.
Thank you. What is the wish of the committee?
Motion to approve from 9 a.m. to 2 a.m. for the fast food drive-through service.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Thank you.
391 Linway, Suds Up Laundromat. We did actually receive notice that they are withdrawing at this time.
Okay. Do we need to make a motion to withdraw?
Yep.
We have a
I didn't
motion
hear
to-
what you said.
We have a motion to withdraw.
Okay, make a motion to withdraw.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That motion's withdrawn.
525 Linway, Gulf Station. 525 Linway, the Gulf Station.
We have anybody present representing Gulf at 525 Linway?
Make a motion to table.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That motion's tabled.
567 Linway, McDonald's. 567 Linway, McDonald's.
Is anybody here from McDonald's from 560 Linway representing McDonald's at 567 Linway? Seeing none, what's the wish of the committee?
Make a motion to table.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's tabled.
16 Market Square, Guatemala Restaurant. 16 Market Square, Guatemala Restaurant.
Do we have anyone here from Guatemala Restaurant representing Guatemala Restaurant, 16 Market Square? Seeing none, what is the wish of the committee?
Motion to table.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That motion is tabled.
17 Market Square, People's Choice.
Please come to the microphone and state your name and title.
Freddy Rodriguez, owner.
Thank you. What is the wish of the committee?
Motion to approve, 6
Second.
a.m. to 1:30 a.m., 7 days a week.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
50 Western Ave, 7-Eleven. 50 Western Ave, 7-Eleven.
Do we have anyone here representing 7-Eleven at 50 Western Ave? Seeing none, what is the wish of the committee?
Motion to table.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion's tabled.
707 Western Ave, Domino's Pizza.
Again, Attorney Sam Vitale, I've spoken with the ward councilor, Councilor Hogan, with respect to this location that's in his ward. He told me he's had no problems the past year, and I would hope the council would renew. Thank you.
Thank you. What is the wish of the committee?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Thank you.
969 Western Ave, AL Prime Energy. 969 Western Ave, AL Prime Energy.
Do we have anyone from AL Prime Energy at 969 Western Ave? Seeing none, what is the wish of the committee?
Motion to table.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion is tabled.
And the last one is 341 Union Street, Domino's Pizza.
Again, Attorney Vitale, on behalf of Domino's Pizza, this is in Councilor Chakoudas' ward. I've spoken with her. She told me she has had no problems the past year, and I would hope the council would renew. Thank you.
Motion to approve, 10 a.m. to 3 a.m., 7 days a week.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries.
Can I make a
Rest
motion to
are
take
all,
the rest of them as a whole?
Rest all as a whole. Just before we finish with that, I just want to remind all those business owners that have extended hours that we do need you to work together with the city on improving the litter problems that we have throughout the city. I probably should have said that before some left. You'll be getting a letter. We really need you to step it up. You know, you're not just responsible for inside your business, but you're responsible for outside your business. It's not one person alone. It's not one group alone. It's going to take everybody, especially seeing that most of it's happening in the early morning hours with these extended hours. So we are watching. So please step it up a little bit. Let your employees know that we can all do a better job. Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
We got to vote on the rest.
Second.
Take the rest as a whole.
Yep, the rest
All
are
right.
all renewals.
Okay, what's the wish of the committee?
Approve.
Motion approved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. We're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
We're going to start in 2 minutes. We're waiting for Sean Cronin. Terry's gone down to get him in the building a little quicker. Roll call.
Counsel Barton?
Present.
President Counsel Chakutis?
Present.
President Counsel Calucci?
Present.
President Counsel Field?
Present.
President Counsel Hogan?
Present.
President Counsel LaPierre? Absent. Counsel Lozey?
Present.
President Counsel Net?
Present.
President Counsel Staben?
Present.
President Counsel Walsh?
Present.
President Counsel Seer?
Present. All rise for a moment of silence. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Communications. All right, accept the minutes from the June 8th meeting.
So moved.
Motion made.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Communications.
Communications from His Honor the Mayor. Dear Councilors, I am hereby reappointing the following members as my designees to serve on the Economic Development and Industrial Corporation Board. Tyrone Brown, 590 Boston Street, Unit 203. Magnolia Contreras, 20 Shepherd Street. Richard Starboard, 221 Verona Street. Theodore Smith, 32 Scranton Way. Karath Sang, 44 Verdmont Street. And Charles Gator, 132 Range Heights Road. Mr. Gator will serve as the chairman of the board. All of these appointments are effective July 1st, 2021, and the expirations dates will be staggered. Sincerely, Mayor Thomas M. McGee.
Motion to approve.
Motion made. Seconded. Roll call.
Counsel Barton?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Chakutis?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Calucci?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Field?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Hogan?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel LaPierre?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Lozey?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Net?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Staben?
Abstain.
Abstain. Counsel Walsh?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Seer?
Yes. Public hearings.
We have proposed ordinances to establish via the following ordinances all revolving funds that the city desires to maintain.
Can we read them all? Do we read them all, or can we do them one at a time? What do we do, Jim?
They can be read together and with a public hearing with pros and cons calling in or speaking from the audience.
Okay.
Anyone in particular
All right.
that people want to speak on.
So all the ordinances can be read, all the different accounts.
Okay?
Clerk would read.
City of Lynn Memorial City Hall and Auditorium, abandoned foreclosed residential and commercial property, City of Lynn Cannabis Community Impact, Comcast PEG Access, City of Lynn Community Gardens, City of Lynn Cultural District, City of Lynn Bachland Avenue Dog Park, City of Lynn Handicap Parking Violations, City of Lynn Insurance Proceeds, City of Lynn July 4th Fireworks, Law Enforcement Trust, City of Lynn Proceeds from the sale of Lynn Library branches, City of Lynn Parking Meter Receipt, City of Lynn Parks and Recreation Concert and Special Events, City of Lynn Pine Grove Cemetery, Land Grade City of Pine Grove Cemetery, Perpetual Care, City of Lynn Repair, recently repaved roadways, City of Lynn Special Needs Camp, City of Lynn Stadium Commission, Manning Fraser Field, City of Lynn Tax Title Collection, City of Lynn Overflow Trash Bag Vaccine Insurance Reimbursement, Verizon PEG Access, and the City of Lynn Wetlands Protection.
What's the wish? So we have to do this as a public hearing, correct? Anyone wishing to speak in favor? Anyone wishing to speak in favor? They can come to the podium and speak, or they can call in on 781-586-6783. Anyone wishing to speak on any of these ordinances? Anyone wishing to call in, 781-586-6783, or anyone wishing to speak in favor? I'm going to keep the hearing open for anyone wishing to speak in favor. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Anyone wishing to speak in opposition? 781-586-6783. Anyone wishing to call in? 781-586-6783. Or anyone wishing to speak in opposition may come to the podium. Last call for anyone wishing to speak in favor. If you wish to call in, 781-586-6783. Seeing none and hearing none, that part of the hearing is closed. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Anyone wishing to speak in opposition, 781-586-6783. Seeing none and hearing none, that part of the hearing is closed. What's the wish of the council?
Motion to approve.
Motion made to approve.
Second.
Seconded. Discussion. Councilor LaPierre.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a constituent asked a clarifying question from, I believe the minutes of last time might be a typographical error, but the City of Lynn Cannabis Community Impact Fund does not belong to the Pine Grove Cemetery. Let it be known that that belongs in the CFO's hands. I just want that to be on the record.
Thank you, Council. Anyone else wishing to speak? Roll call.
Counsel Barton?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Chakutis?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Calucci?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Field?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Hogan?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel LaPierre?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Lozey?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Net?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Staben?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Walsh?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Seer?
Yes.
Okay, we have the following orders. Order that the City of Lynn hereby accept Mass General Law, Chapter 60, Section 15B, as it relates to establishing a tax title collection revolving fund.
Anyone wishing to speak in favor? What's the wish of the council?
Approve.
Motion made. Seconded. Discussion. Roll call.
Counsel Barton?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Chakutis?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Calucci?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Field?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Hogan?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel LaPierre?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Lozey?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Net?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Staben?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Walsh?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Seer?
Yes.
Yes. Order that the City of Lynn hereby accepts Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53D, as it relates to funding self-supporting recreation and park services of the City of Lynn.
So wish of the council.
Approve.
Motion made.
Second.
Seconded. Discussion. Roll call.
Counsel Barton?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Chakutis?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Calucci?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Field?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Hogan?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel LaPierre?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Lozey?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Net?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Staben?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Walsh?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Seer?
Yes. Next order.
Order that the City of Lynn hereby accepts Mass General Law, Chapter 40, Section BJ, as it related to allocating a portion of handicap parking violation fines to be utilized by the Mass Disability Commission. 60% of all handicap parking violations within the City of Lynn shall be placed into a revolving fund pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 40, Section 22G.
So wish of the council.
Approve.
Motion made. Seconded. Discussion. Roll call.
Counsel Barton?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Chakutis?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Calucci?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Field?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Hogan?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel LaPierre?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Lozey?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Net?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Staben?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Walsh?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Seer?
Yes. Next order.
Order that the City of Lynn hereby accepts Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53F, 3 1/4, for the purpose of establishing a PEG access and cable-related fund, into which may be deposited funds received in connection with a franchise agreement between cable operators and the City of Lynn. Monies in the fund shall only be appropriated for cable-related purposes consistent with the franchise agreement, including but not limited to: 1, support for public education or governmental access cable television services; 2, monitor compliance of the cable operator with the franchise agreement; or 3, prepare for renewal of the franchise license.
What's the wish of the council?
Approve. Second.
Motion made. Seconded. Discussion. Roll call.
Counsel Barton?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Chakutis?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Calucci?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Field?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Hogan?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel LaPierre?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Lozey?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Net?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Staben?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Walsh?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Seer?
Yes. Next is the budget hearing. Before we do that, when we open it up for all those in favor, all those opposed, anyone wishing to speak on either in opposition or in favor of, you'll have 5 minutes. Anyone calling in on the phone, they will have 5 minutes as well. The number to call in on is 781-586-6783. We're going to have ask Mr. Sean Cronin from the state to come to the podium. Okay, to the desk. Would you like to come to the desk, Sean? You want the mayor to go first, or do you want to speak? Okay, do you want to speak first, Mr. Mayor? You can either come to the table or go to the podium.
I'll speak from here. That's
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, members of the council. And those that are all watching, both here as well as on Zoom or on TV. I'm pleased to present to this honorable body a balanced budget for the City of Lynn's fiscal 2022 budget in the amount of $407,008,573. Excuse me. As this is the last budget I will present, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak not only on this budget, but also on the financial and municipal recovery status of the city as a whole since my administration began. Throughout my career, I've approached problem resolution work with consensus building grounded in facts and objectivity. Coming into office in 2018, I knew there were significant financial issues that needed to be addressed, and getting Lynn back on the path to stable financial footing was my #1 priority. I worked with all of you, our department heads, and state officials to take necessary steps in order to get approval to borrow funding that would allow us to quickly right the ship, and I know Sean Cronin is here, he's very intimately involved in that as well. We hired a full-time chief financial officer. We implemented a robust and collaborative multi-month budget process that highlighted where the needs and disparities were. Thank you. And asked everyone to share in the cost cutting. We began to steadily and responsibly build back depleted staffing levels to align with present needs of a city our size, which included 10 new police officers, 20 new firefighters, a DPW position to assist with backlogged work orders, a full-time hearings officer in the parking department in order to better serve the public, and we filled the 4th attorney position in the law department. Strategic and equitable hiring was a focus of my administration in order to improve and deliver quality municipal services. In fiscal year 2019, we also created a multi-year capital improvement plan. We began the regular process of budget forecasting and fully funded our net school spending requirement, something we have done every year since. We used fiscal year 2020 to close budget gaps by not hiring unfilled positions, increase the annual reserve accounts, increase the snow and ice budget, and purchase new voting machines. Additionally, we funded 3 police cruisers, 2 infrared cameras for the fire department, and began to tackle our 5-year capital improvement plan by bonding for larger capital projects. During that fiscal year, we reached a significant multi-year health insurance agreement with the city's unions that preserve the much-needed benefits for our employees while realizing substantial savings for the future. We had just begun to find our stable fiscal footing from 2018, when in March of 2020, we were faced with the most devastating public health crisis of our lifetime, the COVID-19 pandemic. And we all experienced and dealt with that over the last 15 months. Everybody in this community did, in a way that was unprecedented. This triggered an unforeseeable financial crisis nationwide, and economic activity all but ground to a halt. With state and federal budget in a place of uncertainty and faced with unprecedented fiscal decisions for the second time in my administration, I again asked each department to share in the sacrifice of crafting a balanced budget. I think all of those department heads are here today, and we worked closely with them throughout the last few years, and obviously through this pandemic that we continue to face as we move forward. At the same time, our nation and our communities found themselves confronting difficult conversations and heightened emotions due to the decades of racial tensions boiling to the surface. The fiscal year 2021 budget and supplemental appropriations took first steps at budgetary commitments for ending systematic racism and promoting equity and inclusion across various sectors. The results of that commitment included the hiring of the city's first diversity, equity, and inclusion officer, implementing body-worn cameras in the police department, and moving towards an unarmed crisis response team in the city. Additionally, the fiscal year 2021 budget included 2 networking positions in the IT department, which was a need that became abundantly clear and apparent during the pandemic. We also added an elder affairs director, a personnel generalist to assist with human resources needs of our employees, and an arts and cultural planner. A deputy building commissioner was backfilled during the course of this fiscal year to increase the oversight and production of the important work coming out of the Inspectional Services Division. It is because of the city's careful fiscal planning over the past 3 years and the department head's willingness to prudently spend during tough times that I am able to present a balanced budget fiscal year 2022. The budget before you has withstood the interim local and state revenue losses and maintained full employment even at the height of the pandemic. This past year was unlike any other. Our workforce, students, educators had to learn how to fulfill their obligations remotely. Our Department of Public Health, Emergency Operations Team, first responders, and essential workers were called on to implement a massive emergency response that consisted of planning, developing policy, communicating and enforcing changing complex restrictions, incremental reopenings, and most importantly, coordinating and carrying out a robust and ongoing testing and vaccine program. Our economic development team partnered with individuals, businesses, and nonprofit organizations to equitably get them millions of dollars in financial resources they needed to survive the crisis, from housing and food assistance to small business and nonprofit grants. And I know we all work together, the council and the department heads, to address many of those issues as we continue to work through this unprecedented pandemic. We also work with our partners, both at the local, state, and federal level, to support those needs. But above all, I think this is important, people in our community stepped up for one another. I can't state that strong enough. People in the city came together and went through what was the second or third most impacted community in the Commonwealth, and came together and helped us get to a better place as we continue to move forward. Because of that, we are beginning to see the light at the end of the tunnel and rebuilding from the loss that we all endured together. Each year, fiscal stability, responsible spending of taxpayer dollars, taking advantage of savings through efficiencies and grant funding, fostering smart and equitable economic growth, and ensuring access to municipal government services has been at the forefront of building each balanced budget. It is a process that happens all year long. The fiscal year 2022 budget you have before you for consideration is no different. It was built with all of those same pillars as its foundation. However, what this past year has highlighted, and what my administration has annually planned for, is the importance of sustainable investment for today and for tomorrow. The budget continues that plan of investment by proposing an $8.5 million $8 million in capital improvements through a combination of cash capital and bonding capital projects, which includes the replacement of 2 fire pumpers to match up the 2 pumpers that were already added to the department's equipment, 5 police vehicles, replacing the antiquated parking technology at the parking department, 7 DPW vehicle replacements, 6 vehicle replacements for other departments, turf irrigation replacements at the Gannon Golf Course, Gallagher, and Fry Parks, a citywide master plan funding, and Fraser and Manning Field improvements directed clearly at the turf for both fields. Additionally, the fiscal year 2022 budget includes a DPW position to focus on keeping our recreational areas litter-free and maintained, a grants manager in the comptroller's office, and a position in the health department that has survived this past year. I don't think I can state this enough, and all of you I know have worked with the health department, thanks to their dedicated work of temporary employees, but we were able to get through this, but clearly continues to require sustainable staffing for the future. And again, this pandemic couldn't more clearly identify what we had to face, in that department in particular. The pandemic has changed both the ways we provide public health services and the type of public health services we have to provide today, and the health departments, therefore, in a city of our size, requires additional and sustainable staffing to support this. I was at the Cataldo and Atlantic ribbon cutting today for the new facility where they over by Fraser and Manning Fields, and as they spoke today, they spoke about the smaller vehicles, van-sized vehicles that they are now utilizing in numerous vehicles have been acquired, and they are actually going out and getting health service to people in our community and the communities they serve, utilizing these smaller vehicles. Again, through the pandemic, have learned and understood that there's a different way to do what we do, and they're taking advantage of those new things they've learned. And again, getting back to the health department, supporting their efforts is something that this has been clear through this pandemic. The fiscal year 2022 budget includes a continued budgetary commitment for ending systematic racism and promoting equity and inclusion in our community. $500,000 is built into the mayor's budget to further the ongoing work related to the All Lynn Emergency Response Team Initiative, or ALERT. My team and I have been meeting regularly with the Lynn Racial Justice Coalition, discussing and advancing many social justice topics this year. That partnership has taught me a lot, and it has improved our community in many ways, though we still have quite a way to go before justice for all is reached. There are many details to be worked out before ALERT is ready to be implemented, and we are in the process of hiring a consultant to assist us in developing an implementable initiative that works here in the city of Lynn. But this line item in the mayor's budget is a commitment to support those efforts as we move forward. Under my administration, the city's total reserve accounts have improved from $1 million available in 2018 to almost $28 million available in 2021. This includes the annual reserve fund in the operating budget, the capital stabilization fund, the rainy day fund, the statutory supplemental reserve, free cash, and the health insurance trust fund. The bond rating for the city of Lynn over the last 3 years was just recently upgraded by Standard & Poor's, and I think you all know the challenges we faced a few years ago. They have upgraded it from an A- to an A with a positive outlook. This is a drastic improvement for the city, and although those numbers don't seem to reflect the depth and breadth of the change with the rating agencies, it is a major and dramatic step forward for the city, and it's something that we all can be proud of, and we worked on to make it happen together. We continue to maintain the snow and ice budget to a realistic average, fully funded our net school spending requirement for education, and correctly budgeted the city's share of health insurance costs based on projected 100% utilization. We have also directed more funding to quality of life programs, including sidewalk replacements, street light and traffic light repairs, and transportation and park infrastructure improvements as well. In total, we have added 60 new vehicles to the City of Lynn fleet, many of which are considered fuel efficient since we became a designated green community. We have installed 243,278 square yards of pavement since 2018. That's 20,273 tons of asphalt, or close to 11.5 miles of new roadway. We've directed approximately $1.7 million in local funding for the design of significant street infrastructure improvements that continues at Olympia Square, the Complete Streets project, the reconstruction of Linfield Street, which is moving forward and will hopefully be shovels in the ground next spring, and the projects that are happening and will continue to happen with federal dollars at Essex Street and Weston Avenue, major reconstructions that will bring millions of dollars to the city. And again, this has and will unlock our ability to access $63 million in state and federal funding for the construction of those projects through the Complete Streets and Transportation Improvement Programs. Lastly, the American Rescue Plan will provide the City of Lynn with approximately $70 million in emergency funding to provide relief and assistance to those impacted by COVID-19 and the resulting economic recession. These dollars have the potential to be transformative if used wisely and strategically. The priorities set forth in response to the federal money should synthesize the concerns of the people and the needs of the city. It has been an honor to come before this body with the City of Lynn annual budget. I want to thank you all for your work over the last 4 years. My hope is that the good fiscal work and the strong stewardship that has been carried out over the past 4 years will continue in the coming years so that our community continue to live, work, and thrive in the best of situations. Thank you again for these years of partnership and opportunity to speak to you this evening. I hope that you vote favorably on this fiscal 2022 budget before you. I know that Sean Cronin will be speaking. I'm here with Mike Bertino for any questions or that you members of the committee or the council may have. But we're here to hopefully see this approved and answer any questions that you might have. With that, I'll step back and again, we'll be here to answer questions. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Cronin. I don't know if you want to use the board or... Oh, COVID pounds? Yep.
not showing. If it doesn't work, I'll just go to the... For some reason, it's not recognizing it. All right, well. So, thanks for having me. Again, my name's Sean Cronin. I'm the state-appointed fiscal stability officer for the city. And let me just start off by saying a couple things. One is I don't need to repeat anything the mayor said. I think lots of great stuff has happened from when I first got involved, and I'm not taking credit for it. I mean, when the financial problems began and state oversight came in, the hiring of Mike, lots of good things have happened. The overall reserve position, I think, is a pretty clear indicator of it. So I may sound overly critical, but at times during this presentation, but the city has certainly made some great strides on the operating side, on the capital side, and on the reserve side. So lots of good things have happened. So everybody who's been involved should be proud of that. And then also, as somebody who's been in or around local government my whole career, this pandemic has shown ever so clearly how important local government is and how important, I think you said all your department heads are behind here, how important they are. I actually said to people I used to work with and, some mayors, including Mayor McGee and some managers around the state, I was actually happy not to be in a town hall or a city hall during this. I can only imagine what it was like, 24/7, not knowing what's happening one day to the next. That's why your department heads are so critical. They're the subject matter experts, and all the investments that the mayor laid out, not just physical investments, but the human capital investment is huge. At the end of the day, there's only so much revenue to go around, but investing in your human infrastructure is really important because at the end of the day, local government is delivered, the services are delivered by people, the residents expect it, they hopefully expect it in the most efficient and cheapest way possible. So to me, the pandemic, I think it actually showed residents, not just of Lynn, but all over the country, probably all over the world, of just how important local government is and all those little boards or commissions or departments that you never really think about until something like that happens and you realize just how important everybody is. So, I just wanted to open with that because at times I admit I might be overly critical, but that's kind of what I'm here to do. So with that, let me just talk big picture for a little bit. So it's a $407 million budget. And it's a pretty good sized business that the city's operating right now. Obviously one of the largest municipalities in the state, one of the largest budgets in the state. It's balanced. And unfortunately I couldn't figure that out, but basically your revenue comes from three sources. The state, mostly Chapter 70, education aid, that makes up about 60% of your budget. Your local property taxes make up about a third, and then all your other local receipts, so-called, make up the balance. So pretty heavily dependent upon state aid, primarily for education services. Then in terms of where the money goes, just like every community in the state, for the most of them, education is the biggest outlay, and I don't think we need to explain why. So aside from
Excuse me, Sean.
Yep.
Do you want him to try to set that up for you? 'Cause,
Sure.
I think everybody would be impressed with the charts. The councilors are able to see them, but
Yeah, you heard it. You heard it got recognized, but it just wouldn't. I couldn't see the thing, the file.
I didn't mean to stop you in the middle.
That's all right.
But this, I think, is important.
Yeah, but I didn't see the file there. Do you have to? So on that thumb drive, there's a couple of files. That's what I mean, they just weren't popping up. I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, I don't see them on here.
Yeah, it's weird, the files just aren't showing, so.
No, they are not.
So we'll say it's a bad thumb drive, it's certainly not your fault.
Thanks.
You probably
Thanks,
tossed
Peter.
that thing.
We tried.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. So, after schools, which again, I don't think any explanation as to why it's always the largest part of the pie. After that, it's and I'm going to get into this a little bit, employee benefits is the next largest part of the budget at over 20%. And again, as I said at the beginning, it takes people to operate local government, and when that comes benefit packages. So that's a major cost center to pay attention to. After that, you got your police, your fire, public safety is obviously a big part of the budget. And then you have something called non-appropriated, which is more of a technical term than anything. It's basically expenses that you don't have any say in. They're automatically deducted off your cherry sheet. The biggest one for the city, though, is charter school tuition. That's about $27 million. So, if you were to see the pie chart and then reallocate that, this shows that schools on a line item basis is only 45% of the budget, but if you add in charter school expenses, if you add in benefits allocated to the schools, my guess is that's well over 50%, if not a heck of a lot higher, as it is in most places. So that's big picture where the money comes from and where the money's going, and that's pretty standard across the state. Education, public safety, benefits being kind of the big three, and then DPW normally follows that. So the increase is pretty significant, $19 million, a 5% budget increase, primarily due to state aid, which I'll come back to in a second. So your property taxes have grown 5.4%, which is the 2.5 max, plus something called new growth. And as you get further along, well, when you're back here in the fall setting the tax rate, Michael and his team will have a final new growth number. That will change these numbers a little bit. But new growth is critically important. I heard something about an economic development board earlier. That's the only way you can get above and beyond 2.5%, which you need to under Prop 2.5 in order to continue to deliver services. So I know there's always the push and pull with neighborhoods and stuff, but from a purely financial perspective, development is good, and you need it to continue to grow your tax base. So that 5.4% equates to probably about a 3.5% increase in property taxes, not individual tax bills, the levy as a whole. So state aid has grown 15.2%, which is a pretty significant increase, primarily because of the Student Opportunity Act, which I'm sure you're all familiar with. The legislature passed, the governor signed that bill, basically a reform to Chapter 70 over a year ago now. So for the city, there's a $14 million increase in Chapter 70, and that's about 7%. The charter school reimbursement side of it, so there's two sides. There's the charter school money going out, and then there's the reimbursement coming in. That's growing 9% by about $350,000. And then unrestricted general government aid, which is exactly what it says. You can use it for any municipal purpose. That's grown over $800,000 or 3.5%. So state aid, property taxes is where all the growth is coming from. In terms of where it's going, an increase of $11 million to the schools. So of the $19 million, 11 is going into the school department line item. After that, the next largest growth center is employee benefits, $3.6 million. I'll focus on two of them, which is where all the money is anyways, pensions and health insurance. So if you remember last year, one of the budget fixes, so to speak, was to change the pension schedule. That basically made it easier to make the appropriation last fiscal year. And I remember writing in my report that you're going to have to come back and pay for it next year. Well, you're paying for it now. In retrospect, now you got the money, so might not have been such a bad idea. We'll see how in actuary world it actually plays out. But that's a $2.5 million increase in this budget, or 8.5%. So pretty significant cost increase there. And then health insurance growing, I'll say only by $1 million. because the rates are only going up by about 2%, which is really good. Remember, half a decade ago, they were 4 or 5 times of that magnitude. So, $3.6 million in employee benefits. And then the other one I'll focus on, 2 others actually. So public service, public works, $3 million. Half of that is cash capital, some of the investments that I believe the mayor was talking about. Sanitation has grown by $700,000, and I just want to say something. I play the same role in Methuen, and on their agenda tomorrow night, 2 major contracts, solid waste and recycling. Guess what? They're going up, right? You can talk about, I'm sure the Public Works Commission would love to talk about trash all night, but, bottom line is it's a major cost center. It always seems to be growing. There's some tools that the city could probably take advantage of if you haven't already to try and reduce tonnage, try and increase recycling, look holistically at the way that you deliver the services. I know some of the debates are difficult anytime you start talking about trash because it's one of the core municipal services. But that's a line item that always seems to grow unless you do something really significant. And then the other thing I'll focus on, I'm going to come back to this at the end. So the so-called non-departmental category is growing $1.6 million. And that's basically what I think is a wise decision to put money aside in basically a collective bargaining reserve. It's called a wage stabilization fund. That's putting money aside. Your contracts aren't finalized yet, right? They're still in negotiations, right? You're going to need to pay for that. So it's a heck of a lot better to have the money put aside in order to pay for it than entering into a contract and wondering where am I going to get that money to pay for those new contracts. So, whether the dollar amount's right, that will all be determined, but it's a really good, prudent step by the mayor to put that money aside. Then, just one more big picture thing. If you look at the expenditures another way, forget departments, just look at it really in terms of people, benefits, and everything else. 73% of your budget is people, wages and salaries. 52% wages, 21% benefits. Benefits you already talked about, health insurance and pensions, basically all of it. So what's the rest of the budget? You've got 27% left in the budget, so that's about $110 million. Those are things like non-appropriated, which we talked about, debt service, which I'll come back to, pay-as-you-go capital, and then non-salary expenses. So look at the municipal side for a second. And I go through this because it's interesting. You spend a lot of time going through, should we increase this line item 10,000, or maybe that's a town meeting thing more than a city council thing, but you kind of get latched on to these increases in a line item and you kind of don't really step back and look at where most of this money's going. So out of $400 and some odd million, you've got $35 million of non-salary expenses on the city side of the budget. So other than that, it's either going to the schools or into wages and benefits. So what's the biggest, what eats up that percentage? In this city, $7.4 million from what I could see, give or take, solid waste budget. Almost $18 million in your ISD, which I believe does a whole host of things, including school building maintenance, city facility maintenance, which is a critical part of municipal government that is definitely not enough attention paid to. You need to upgrade or keep your facilities updated, or you pay the piper down the road. About $1 million, give or take, for ongoing IT costs, which I totally agree with the mayor. Having, I work for a state agency that is now fully hybrid. So we have a registration system where we can rent an office for the day, or you stay home. And that happened like that. Overnight, state's third biggest agency. Actually, at the time, it was fully remote. There was no hybrid. You couldn't go in. And having a dedicated IT team to pull off something like that was, there'll be lots of books written about how great IT folks across the board did during the pandemic. And then the last part is the cash capital. So you get about $2.4 million of cash capital in that. So again, you strip aside people, you don't really have that much. You don't have that many major service contracts to really dig in on. But you should look at solid waste. You should look at how you maintain your facilities, et cetera. So So that's the big picture stuff, the way, if I go put my budget analyst hat back on, that's the way I would look at your budget, see where the money's coming, where's it going, is it balanced? The answer is yes, it's balanced. So let me just close a little bit with some of the notable expenditures in here. And again, I say this in Methuen too, I'm not here to say you should put more money here in this department or take something out of that department. That's up for you. Up to you. You're the legislative body of the city, right? You have an extremely powerful role to play. You, at the end of the day, react to the executive's budget, right? So you can cut, you can't add, you can cut, basically. So that's up to you. The resource allocation debate's up to you. I'm very happy I'm not part of that, because I know that there can always be lots of fun and many nights talking about where to spend money. So what I'm going to focus on more is kind of the core components of the budget. So reserves, and I echo what the mayor said. There's a nice chart in your budget document that shows over the last few years how you've increased your reserve levels. The $400 million budget is still not enough, so nobody should walk away here saying, wow, we got $28 million in the bank, we should go spend that. That's not that big on a percentage basis for the size of the budget that you all have. There's a couple of other, other than fund balance, you've got the statutory required supplemental reserve. As originally put in the budget, that was short by about $300,000. I know it's either already happened or it's in front of you tonight. There's a free cash appropriation to put into that fund this year, which makes the number in the mayor's budget work. On the reserve fund, so step back in October, November, before you set your tax rate, there was some unanticipated state aid left on the table. Everybody was expecting Chapter 70 to get cut, unrestricted general government aid to get cut, because we understandably all thought the world was ending. But that didn't happen. Chapter 70 actually grew for the city of Lynn. Unrestricted general government aid was actually level funded across the Commonwealth. So there was extra money above and beyond what was originally programmed in the budget. Some of that went into the reserve fund. And again, I don't know if it's tonight or it's already happened. There's another batch of reserve fund transfers for you. You're draining that down. That's not something you're going to have next year to that extent. So it's going from $2.5 million, I think, down to about $1.3 million. So you still have a general reserve fund for those unexpected, emergency, unforeseen expenses that happen during the course of the year, but it's basically cut in half. And then the one that I do want to spend a little bit of time on, but I'm going to come back to it at the end, is the no deposit into the capital stabilization fund, which is a reduction of $3 million. But I promise I'll close on that. Some other major highlights, which, if you're looking at just big picture of the budget, is there enough money in here to pay your deficit financing notes? You know that you're on a schedule to pay those back. The answer is yes. There's $1.25 million in there, which will cover the pay down and the interest on the outstanding amount of the note. I already mentioned the collective bargaining agreements. There's a lot of communities that will go into a budget without a reserve and contracts not agreed to. It's really good that the city's doing that. That was great to see. You meet net school spending requirements. That was a driving problem, or driving force of the problem a few years ago. According to what the CFO provided, you meet net school spending requirements, which, a little bit of the Student Opportunity Act, yes, the state's ponying up a fair amount of money, but that also means the city, or the school city, has to put up, because your foundation budget's growing. So there is a piece of the city money that's going to make the net school spending requirements. I already talked about the pension piece. I have some other minor odds and ends here that not that important. You can read it. So let me close with the capital plan and the long-range financial forecast. So as I said at the beginning, I might be a little critical. This is probably where that might come out. So there's a spreadsheet in the budget document for capital. There's a spreadsheet in the budget document for a forecast. Maybe I missed it. I just couldn't tie them together. Trying to look at what's programmed in a capital plan. How is it being financed? How does that impact debt service? Michael and I had some conversations. We just might have to respectfully disagree, but a capital plan is a multi-year plan with a financing scheme behind it. It's not just here's the projects that we want to do. it should be done over multi-year and explain how we're funding it, like the Collins Center plan that was presented 2, 3, 4 years ago now did. So that, again, probably overly critical, but, I think a capital plan is as important, if not more important, than an operating budget. You can see the conditions in any community that lack of investment yields, right? You can physically drive down the streets in your community and see what happens if you don't invest. But the major issue I have is the $30 million estimate for West Lynn Middle School and Pickering Middle School. So I sit on the MSBA Board of Directors, and I can tell you, so tomorrow we have a meeting and we're voting on some projects. Unless something happens, these are not going to be projects of about $100 million, with the city only paying $30 million. The cost of these school buildings now are huge, okay? And then, so that's A. B, the way that the reimbursement rate works, yes, Lynn on paper is an 80% reimbursement community. On paper. There's a bunch of caps. There's a $333 per square foot. That's actually, we're voting on that tomorrow to increase that. But $333 per square foot of construction. It's not $333 per square foot of construction. There's soft cost caps. There's site remediation caps. There's a bunch of caps. So when you, and I admit I'm a one-trick pony on the MSBA board. Anytime a new community comes before us for the first time, I go through this with them and say, yes, you're going to get handed a piece of paper that says you're an X percent. Take 15 to 20 percentage points off of that number. I'm telling you, because I lived it in Brookline, and now I see it on the MSBA board. We'll see. Again, could be proven wrong, but I just don't think that two separate major school projects will cost the city $30 million each. But again, we'll see how time, what time shows. Then the Capital Stabilization Fund. So part of the plan, again, last October had state aid above and beyond expectations. I already mentioned you put a good chunk of it into the reserve fund. That's now kind of gone away. But the big thing to me in this is the not putting anything in this budget. I know there's a free cash request to put money into the Capital Stabilization Fund. The whole point of the approach devised last year that I regurgitated in my memo, Michael and I worked on it together last fall, was basically to say, look, you have, and I'm not going to guess the numbers, I just want to cheat and look at what I said last year. So you had $4.2 million of extra state aid, and it was in December, actually. The mayor came forward with a proposal to put $3 million in the capital stabilization and $1 million in the general reserve. And what I said was, if you keep that $4.1 million capacity in your base budget, and actually not just keep it in your base budget, but deposit into the capital stabilization fund, over a 4 or 5 year period, you would have enough cash and enough budget capacity to fund a, $190 million school project, which is probably closer than $100 million for a school project. Now, unfortunately, you lost that capacity, so you pull $3 million out, and it's baked throughout the rest of the budget. And that, to me, was the beauty of that plan, is you say, we keep this in as a line item. We're going to keep throwing it into the capital stabilization fund, so A, we're boosting that fund, and then we can come back and take that money out and pay for part of the project in cash. But equally important, once you float those bonds and debt service payments come due, you now have that budget capacity basically to slide from one line item to another line item. Now that's gone. Right? Now again, we'll see how what happens over time. Your new growth could go through the roof. I know there's a lot of potential development in the city, and the financial picture might change. But it was a really good plan. I admit it's the first thing I looked for when the budget was sent to me. So I had to close it being overly picky, but I do think that that's kind of a lost opportunity. And I'll close on a more positive note by reiterating what I said at the beginning. Lots of good things have happened over the past few years. The numbers show it. The budget document shows it. But I still think that there's, I think the mayor said when the first time I met him, it didn't happen overnight. It ain't going to get fixed overnight. So It hasn't been fixed overnight, but a lot of good things have happened. There's still some, at least in my opinion, still some steps to take. But, so I don't know if you have any questions or you want me to sit down and stop.
Council have any questions for Mr. Cronin? Thank you, Mr. Cronin.
Thank you.
At this point, we're going to open up the public hearing. And again, I'm going to say that anyone wishing to speak in opposition or in favor will have 5 minutes to speak. Same thing on the phone. The number is 781-586-6783. Mike, do you have something you would like to say?
I just want to remind everybody, if they have any questions on the budget, I'm here as well to speak to strategy, long-term planning, or any of the above. I think it's important to know that I'm visible and that I'm accessible to answer any and all questions.
Thank you, Mike. Anyone wishing to speak in favor? Anyone wishing to speak in favor? Anyone wishing to speak in favor? You can also call 781-586-6783. Please state your name and your address.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Kenneth Buck Bachman. I reside at 52 Normandy Road for over 26 years now. I have seen a lot of changes to the city of Lynn, the streets, and the neighborhood since then. For those not familiar with Normandy Road, we are a 2.5 block street that parallels Eastern Avenue and is between Eastern Avenue and Bessem Street, where Holy Family Church is. Our street is used as a cut-through to skip the Eastern Avenue and Essex Street lights, as is Bessem Street. We have speeding cars, drug deals, people sitting in their cars, dumping out their food garbage right out their windows, liquor nip bottles tossed out their windows as they drive by. One person caught shooting up his drugs, and actually a shooting from drugs a few years back. We installed security cameras, and good ones at that, and I have been working with the city and the police department for years on these Normandy Road issues. We are not a normal road or street. We have no sidewalks, no swales, except a swale on the rear of all the properties on the west side of Bessem Street and behind their fences. No one for years maintained this swale, except for me and a couple other residents that are actually across the street. But after years of trying, I finally got the city to agree to maintain this with trimming and mowing that is in no man's land per se. Thanks to Darren Sear, Lisa Narek, and DPW, who is beyond exceptional. Kudos to Lisa. Michael and DPW, Michael Cole and Mayor McGee, and the mayor's office, and Captain Reddy, we are on the same page for now. Things have gotten a little better concerning some of these issues. I come before you today to discuss and bring up the ongoing problem of rats, garbage, and garbage can lids broken or non-existent, and non-conforming residents to city laws and regulations concerning trash and overgrowth, mostly leading to the ongoing rat problem. I obviously live in Ward 3, and I'm sure it's not just a Ward 3 issue, because I've heard a lot of things about rats in many other areas. I am kind of an ambassador to this 3-block stretch of Eastern Avenue, Normandy Road, and Bessem Street. I have helped the church rectory not get tickets by helping them clean up and contacting them to clean up the trash and overgrowth, along with many other neighbors and residents on Normandy Road, Bessem Street, and Eastern Avenue. One example is the house behind us at 317 Eastern Avenue, previously owned by Marie McDonald, that used to work in the Lynn City Hall offices. The house was vacant for 5 years. The garage caved in. No maintenance, windows broken out. I had to get the city involved to have her put a blue tarp on the garage that sat there for 4 years. The house just finally got sold and the owners rented both floors out. They don't maintain the property at all now. The residents do not put garbage out to the street. And they are now using non-city cans behind the garage, and the garbage is piling up. I actually took out the garbage last Tuesday by calling the owner, and he told me that I could. But now what? I see rats and squirrels digging in the bags. He doesn't trim the weeds or grass. I spoke to him today, actually, and he promised me that he would take care of it, so we shall see. I have been working with Doriama D. Diaz, Sanitation ISD, for almost 2 years now. She has been actually phenomenal in helping me address the problems over here from ISD. She engages with me, walks sometimes to actually look at the problem, and then goes above and beyond her job in documenting, warning, and then ticketing residents for trash, garbage, and overgrowth, which is leading to this rat problem. Then Dee follows up with me and lets me know when she will be in the area, as I am her eyes and ears here in the field. It has been improving since Dee Diaz has been out here. She gets things done, period. It's called working together and helping the common good of the city and our neighborhood. That's how city functions the best, in my opinion.
You have 1 minute.
1 minute? Lisa Narek and DPW, if it wasn't for people like me, they wouldn't even know about the problems in the field. Again, she is the best. I called Lisa Tobin in ISD to discuss things last week, and I know she is super busy, and I've spoken to her in the past, but when she finally called me back yesterday, she was bothered by my call. She told me a few things that really hit me hard and actually left me shaking. Dee is not my personal inspector. I can't be sending threatening emails, and she's going to vacation tomorrow, and what's my complaints? I'm going to skip a little bit because I don't have a lot of time left. I got the email. It's not threatening. I read it to Mike Donovan today. I know it has been a tough year or more now for most all of us, and I don't want to make this about me or any individual. It's about our city. I came here to ask the city council for more funding for help for ISD, more inspectors. Maybe a ride-through on garbage days to take a look on the garbage cans they did with recycling a couple years back. Work with the residents and address these problems. Maybe a flyer or notice telling people that they can get new cans or lids by just calling in and letting the city know. I don't think residents know they can even do this. We are the eyes and ears of our city. We only want to improve our city, improve the quality of life for all our residents. I want to thank the city council for your time, hard work, and dedication to our city of Lynn. I will continue to help our city the best way I can. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor? Anyone else wishing to speak in favor? Anyone wishing to call in favor? 781-586-6783. I'm going to leave that part of the in favor hearing open. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition? You'll have 5 minutes at the podium. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Anyone wishing to call in opposition? 781-586-6783. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Seeing none, that part of the hearing is closed. Again, I'm going to close the hearing on the phone for anyone wishing to call in favor, 781-586-6783. Hearing none, that part of the hearing is closed. Anyone wishing to call in opposition, 781-586-6783. Seeing none, that part of the hearing is closed. What is the wish of the council?
Motion to approve the budget.
Motion made. Seconded. Discussion. Roll call.
Could I just offer?
Mr. LaPierre?
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to offer a comment as the chair of the Budget Subcommittee for this council that we want to appreciate and thank the mayor for getting it to us on a timely basis, and that we did seek out and get input from all of the City Hall department heads at a previously scheduled June date, where we heard from them on each of their concerns with the budget, and we did that as an informational purposes leading up to, because we're in conversation with the department heads, with the mayor's office, in anticipation of getting this budget here tonight and voting to approve it. So I just wanted to make that comment from the Budget Subcommittee. We didn't take a vote. We aren't recommending it as a committee. All we're doing was simply informational to make sure the department heads got a chance to present that. And as I said, that was done June 1st of this month. And I want to thank the mayor and his staff for getting it to us on a timely basis. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor LaPierre. Anyone else wishing to comment? Janet? Yeah, we're going to, we have to read each and every department and take a vote on that. So a motion has been made and seconded, and we'll start with the mayor's office.
Can I just ask one question?
Sure.
Please? To either the mayor or to Mike, we're so dependent on state aid. We were pretty fortunate in the past year with what we got when we thought things would be a lot more bleak. Is this coming year going to be the year that we, pay the piper, where that aid is going to start to be reduced based on state revenues being reduced?
That's a great question. Thank you, Councilor Starbett. I guess looking back at, let's say look back at 10 years, even since 2008, 2009, we were in really tough shape. The legislature and the administration at that time made a commitment to continue to fund local aid. And that commitment, even in tough times, has been, I think, almost sacrosanct in terms of the legislature. In terms of the Student Opportunity Act, that question was asked at the school committee budget meeting the other night. Like, are these dollars, will they be reduced? And if you look at Chapter 70 over the years, the formula did not work for the city, but we never saw a reduction in Chapter 70. We just were not getting our fair share of that. So as we continue to see those increases and a 7-year commitment to the Student Opportunity Act, those dollars should continue to be there. There would have to be a dramatic, even more dramatic than what we saw during this pandemic, reduction to see, I think, a cut in the local aid from the state perspective. And if you look at the unrestricted aid, that continues to grow. It's definitely not where it is on the Chapter 70, but it has consistently been growing, and we cannot have been able to depend on that. I think both looking at it from the city's perspective and also from the legislature's perspective, that's been a commitment. Again, I can speak since 1995. That's been a pretty consistent commitment from the legislature over the past 27 years. So I think we can at least depend on level funding. I'm not going to guarantee that we wouldn't be in a place where some 9C cuts could take place in a situation. But in terms of depending on that or seeing the bottom fall out, I would say that is extremely unlikely to happen unless, if that happens, there'll be a substantial crisis across the board. And I think the other piece, at least over the next couple of years, and Mike, if you want to speak to it as well, I think with the federal dollars coming in and allowing us to take that and work to make those investments in a way that we probably wouldn't have been able to make in the past. Particularly, I'll throw an example up. I know you've been in support of this, where we're spending money to upgrade the ventilation systems in 10 schools with federal dollars that came in, which that investment could not have taken place under the current financial situation the city has, although we're going in a better place. So I do feel confident that the next year's budget should be a positive budget as well, particularly under the circumstances. It seems like the economy is starting to really come back together. So I don't know, Mike, if you want to speak to that at all, or if, I think a good question, but thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Another important point of information is not only has our Chapter 70 gone up through the Student Opportunity Act, also our enrollment. So last year, this time, when they were talking $4 to $6 billion decline, we have an inside look at our October enrollment numbers, and we had 490 some odd new children coming into the school. So I actually had a $5 million increase in my Chapter 70 beyond the catastrophic $4 to $6 billion decline in state revenue. So that enrollment helped us and supported us. However, that money has to go to the school. So for instance, the $19 million in new revenue this year, although $11 million went directly to the school for their bottom line budget, we still spent another $4 million of the city's resources to go towards that. So that's 15 out of the 19 that goes there. Therefore, it's virtually impossible to continue to put that capital aside like we did last year. Last year was an anomaly because there's things that we knew ahead of time that we were going to do in our district. That's why when the mayor pointed out, we did a $6 million HVAC upgrade to 10 school buildings. That was originally going to come out of savings that we were going to generate by not having 27 schools being opened for virtually all year. So that savings was originally going to go towards that HVAC project. If you remember, we went through the whole procedure. But Lynn is now the 4th largest school district. So when even some of the districts that are close to us will never see 400 to 500 student increase. A lot for them might be 50 or 100. So when you multiply 500 students times $12,155, that gives you over $5 million more. Even if the state level funded Chapter 70, I knew I was getting anyways. So
That we're not looking at adding numbers like that, given the overcrowding that we have.
Right, that,
To raise for Chapter 70.
right. However, that being said, that if we're going to get hit with Chapter 70, our neighbors are going to get hit a lot worse. So I think we're comfortable in the position we're in right now. You know, we're slowly climbing the ladder. We have 28 million in reserves. We're going to get over 125 million collectively from the federal government between this year and next year. So if we do the right things with those money, the people that are elected in this room and the people that work here are the ones that can make the biggest impact on the city and its future. So the decisions we make under this roof with that money and with our annual budget is really going to set the tone for how high the city can climb.
Any other questions? Okay, so before we vote, there's 37 line items, 37 departments. And I have to ask the clerk to read all of them, plus the amounts of money. And I know this is a little different than the way we normally do it. That's what was recommended by Sean Cronin, that we do it this way, so that the council will have a say as to how, through the budget. Again, I want to say what a good job Councilor LaPierre and the Budget Committee has done, as well as the Mayor's Office and our CFO. So I'm going to ask the City Clerk to read the line items and the amounts.
Whereas pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 32, the mayor submitted a proposed budget for the fiscal year 2022 to the City Council on May 20th, 2021. Whereas the City Council advertised and will hold a public hearing to consider the proposed budget on June 22nd, 2022. Whereas upon motion, the City Council accepted the budget as submitted by the mayor after reductions otherwise voted separately, voted if any. Now therefore be it voted by the City Council of the City of Lynn that the City Council hereby adopts and approves each departmental appropriation as listed below as two separate line items unless it's a single appropriation. One for personnel and related expenses and the other for expenses. The sum of $375,277,953, which sum shall be appropriated and raised by taxation and other sources. Furthermore, the following projected needs are costs to the city, but according to the Massachusetts General Law, as promulgated by the Department of Revenue, are not to be included in appropriation order. Other amounts to be raised are the cherry sheet assessments for $30,339,131, offsets $186,553, overlay $1,204,936, and other zero. The total of entire appropriation is $407,008,573. We'll start the first one with the mayor's personnel, $561,966, expenses $753,634. Admin to the council, personnel $443,795, expenses $20,208. Clerk of council, personnel $3,000. CFO personnel $283,190, expenses $14,000. Controller personnel $421,107, expenses $120,610. Treasurer personnel $392,976, expenses $125,125. Collector personnel $225,477, expenses $20,140. Assessor personnel $584,682, expenses $80,849. City clerk personnel $588,193, expenses $107,466. License commission personnel $31,602, expenses $1,700. Precinct officers personnel $60,000. Purchasing personnel $379,872, expenses $51,816. The IT department personnel, $348,056, expenses $912,181. Personnel, $301,512, expenses $101,000. City solicitor personnel, $613,981, expenses $192,355. ISD personnel, $1,484,124. Expenses, $3,373,586. ISD school personnel, $5,053,204. Expenses, $14,279,408. Police personnel, $20,733,448. Expenses, $1,242,554. Fire personnel, $19,739,939. Expenses, $1,360,042. Streetlights, expenses, $830,000. EOC, expenses, $15,555. Harbor Master personnel, $2,100. Expenses, $5,040. Care of dogs personnel, $72,114. Expenses, $34,511. Parking personnel, $819,962. Expenses, $297,092. DPW personnel, $3,402,036. Expenses, $12,021,396. Personnel, COA personnel, $80,000. Expenses, $111,500. Veterans personnel, $246,600, and expenses, $803,459. The library personnel, $995,652. Expenses, $182,534. Unclassified expenses, $10,500. The GAR personnel, $61,263. Expenses, $61,801. Planning and culture personnel, $75,000. Expenses, $325,000. Retirement personnel, 0. Expenses, $409. Debt expense, $7,362,021. Non-departmental expense, $55,869,204. Wage stabilization fund expense, $1,302,000. Essex school expense, $1,100,000. Lynn school system expense, $180,700,000. Raise and appropriate, $375,277,953.
So I just want to go back to debt. Could you read that amount again, please?
Debt expense, $7,362,021.
Okay, thank you. The reason why I asked that is because I thought when Janet gave that figure, she said 700,000. So we're voting on that.
One mistake, really.
No, I'm not knocking her, but I know Jim would say to us later, so.
For the record, you want me to
It's
read?
for the record. Nope, it's all set. You already did it, so thank you. So motion's been made, seconded, roll call.
Counsel Barton?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Chakutis?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Calucci?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Field?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Hogan?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel LaPierre?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Lozey?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Net?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Stabbit?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Walsh?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Seer?
Yes, may I say, you did a great job, Ms. Clerk. You have one more? Go ahead.
Okay. Council President, Mr. Darren Seer, adoption, creation of revolving funds. I am pleased to present this document to his honored body to accept the adoption of these proposed ordinances to be established via the following ordinances below for all existing revolving funds the City of Lynn desires to maintain with caps and annual spending limits. Following the passage of any ordinance exception, the creation of revolving funds, the City Council is then obligated to establish lifetime caps and annual spending limits which cannot be exceeded absent City Council approval. In reviewing historical expenditures out of each of the existing revolving fund accounts, the City Financial Team has put together the following recommendations to be adopted this evening for any revolving fund approved following the public hearing. This exercise was done via a collaboration with the Law Department and the Financial Departments of the City of Lynn. It is with great pleasure I share with you my recommendation with caps and annual spending limits. Thank you. Thankfully, Stephen Spencer, Comptroller, City of Lynn. And do you want me to read these each individually to be voted on?
Please.
The abandoned foreclosed residential and commercial property revolving fund, the cap is $500 million. The annual limit is $150 million. You want me to read them all and then ask?
We can read them all, right, Jim, and then make a motion, or do we have to vote on it?
Correct, but that's an error there, 500,000 and 150.
500,000. Everybody's a critic. Okay.
They can be all read, or separate.
You want them all read together?
It's really up to the council if they want to take them together or individually.
Take them all, take them together.
Take them all together.
Okay. The cap, $500,000. The annual limit would be $150,000. City of Lynn Memorial City Hall Auditorium Revolving Fund, unlimited cap, $5 million for annual limit. City of Lynn Cannabis Revolving Fund, unlimited cap, $3 million annual limit. Comcast PEG Access and Cable Related Fund, unlimited, $1 million for annual limit. Verizon PEG Access and Cable Related Revolving Fund, unlimited, $1 million annual limit. City of Lynn Community Garden Revolving Fund, unlimited, $50,000 limit. City of Lynn Bachland Ave, the dog park, unlimited cap, $25,000 annual limit. City of Lynn Recreation Concert and Special Events, unlimited cap, $50,000 limit. City of Lynn Cultural District Revolving Fund, unlimited cap, $20,000 annual limit. City of Lynn Handicap Parking Violation, $200,000 with an annual limit of $50,000. City of Lynn Insurance Proceeds Revolving Fund, unlimited cap, $250,000 annual limit. City of Lynn 4th of July, unlimited cap, unexpended monies returned to general fund for the limit. City of Lynn Law Enforcement Trust Revolve, unlimited cap, $200,000 annual limit. City of Lynn proceeds from the sale of the library, unlimited cap, no cap, one-time source of revenue. City of Lynn parking meter receipts, unlimited cap, $200,000 annual limit. City of Lynn Pine Grove Cemetery, the land grade revolving fund, unlimited cap, $150,000 annual limit. City of Lynn Pine Grove Perpetual Care, unlimited cap, $150,000 annual limit. City of Lynn recently repaved roadways caused by utilities, unlimited cap, $150,000 annual limit. City of Lynn Special Needs Camp, unlimited cap, $150,000 annual limit. City of Lynn Stadium Commission, unlimited, $250,000 annual limit. City of Lynn Tax Title, unlimited cap, $150,000 annual limit. City of Lynn Overflow Trash Bag Revolving Fund, unlimited cap, $100,000 annual limit. City of Lynn Vaccine Insurance Reimbursement Fund, unlimited cap, $100,000 annual limit. City of Lynn Use Security Deposit Revolving Fund, unlimited cap, $25,000 annual limit. City of Lynn Compost Bin Revolving Fund, unlimited cap, $50,000 annual limit. Gannon Municipal Golf Course, $2 million with an annual limit of $500,000.
So, do any of the councils have any questions before we take a vote on this? I don't know if you want to come and explain any of that, Jim. This is the first time we are doing this in the budget, and this is about transparency. It's recommended by John Cronin, so.
So this is required by law to set up the ordinances, and every year you pick the cap, and you pick how much can be spent without the department head coming before you. So this will be in compliance with DOR regulations.
Okay, thank you, Jim. What's the wish of the council?
Motion to approve.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion. Roll call. Council Lozey, do you have a question?
Yeah, just maybe Attorney Lamanna. Some of these revolving accounts currently exist, is that correct?
They all do exist, correct.
Okay, so we're just formalizing this, is that?
Formalizing it and having control over it.
Establishing with that cap?
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Council previously had no control, nor did the mayor, so this will be, both will have to have approvals for expenditures over the caps.
So a motion's been made, seconded. Any other questions? Roll call.
Counsel Barton?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Chakutis?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Calucci?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Field?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Hogan?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel LaPierre?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Lozey?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Net?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Staben?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Walsh?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Seer?
Yes. Before we go to our next public hearing, I just want to say it's good to see the public. This is our first council meeting where we are allowing the public to come into it, and it's nice to see everybody's smiling face here tonight. So I want to say thank you. Next public hearing. No chuckles.
Next public hearing is 217 Lewis Street, DM Cannabis Marijuana Dispensary for a sign permit.
We'll wait 1 second. People, we're here for the budget. Stay in, Spence? That reappointment.
I know, right?
Okay, thank you. You can proceed.
Hi, I'm Katie Cove. I'm an account manager at Sinorama in Worcester.
And I'm John DiNovella, Vice President of Operations for DM Cannabis.
So you're speaking in favor of,
Sorry, I've never done this before. So we need a variance to put up 2 signs alongside the building. It's not really an obstruction of anything. It's just the City of Lynn has a limit for signage.
thank you. I don't know if any of the councils have any questions. Okay, thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor? Anyone else wishing to speak in favor? Anyone wishing to call in favor? 781-586-6783. Seeing no one else wishing to speak in favor, I'll leave the phone open for anybody wishing to call in favor. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition may come to the podium. A call 781-586-6783. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Anyone wishing to call in opposition? 781-586-6783. Seeing none, I am closing that part of the hearing, as well as closing the hearing on the phone for anyone wishing to speak in favor. 781-586-6783. Still hearing none, I am closing the phones for anyone in opposition. What's the wish of the council?
Motion to approve.
Motion made to approve.
Second.
Seconded. Discussion. Roll call.
Counsel Barton?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Chakutis?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Calucci?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Field?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Hogan?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel LaPierre?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Lozey? Absent. Counsel Net?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Staben?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Walsh?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Seer?
Yes, you're all set. Next public hearing.
We have 66 Howard Street for a demo request.
Anyone wishing to speak in favor? Anyone wishing to speak in favor, you may call in on 781-586-6783.
Hi, this is Debbie from the City Council. Good, I'm gonna put you on speakerphone.
Hello, could you please state your name and your address?
Hi, my name is Jordan O'Donnell. I'm an attorney at Hinshaw & Culbertson in Boston. Our address is 53 State Street in Boston, Massachusetts.
So you're calling in favor of the demo order?
No, I'm not. I represent the mortgagee, foreclosing mortgagee and loan servicer. We've been retained with regards to the property and received notice of the request to demolish the property. I spoke to an attorney for the city and explained that we had recently been making some interior repairs in conjunction with the occupants of the property, who are represented by an attorney, and would work with the city to address any other exterior issues that may exist. Our client has a property preservation vendor that is capable of addressing and working with the city on any outstanding issues.
Okay, so you're calling in opposition. I'm going to put your name down as being in opposition. We haven't opened that part of the hearing. But would you write the name down, Debbie? Thank you. All right, thank you, sir. Anyone else wishing to call in favor? Anyone wishing to call in favor? 781-586-6783. Do we have any other calls? Do we have any other calls, Debbie? No? All right, so the public hearing for all those in favor is closed at the podium. I'm going to leave the phones open for anyone who wants to call in favor of this. 781-586-6783. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Anyone wishing to speak in opposition? All we need is the name and the address. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition?
Hi, we just want you. It's Attorney O'Donnell. Okay. It's the attorney.
Yep. Well, we already heard that he was in opposition. Thank you. Anyone else wishing to call in opposition or come to the podium? 781-586-6783. Not hearing the phones, I'm closing the part of the hearing with anyone wishing to call in favor. Anyone wishing to call in opposition? 781-586-6783. Hearing none and seeing none, I am closing the hearing of anyone wishing to speak in opposition. I'm also closing the phone for anyone wishing to call in opposition. What's the wish of the council?
Mr. President, before I make a motion, I just want to state that since July of 2014 through January of 2021, there have been over 125 incident reports for that one address. I know the attorneys reached out to our law department over the past week and expressed work that's being done inside the property. I know Councilor Chakutis, myself, and other councilors have received numerous complaints about deleted stuff just all over the property. I drove by again today. There's been a car on that property for well over a year with a tree on top of it. It's become a rodent problem. It's become a nuisance to the neighborhood. I know that they're trying and they're saying that they're doing it, but they're not. I'll make a motion to table that we can follow through.
Are you making a motion to put the demo order on it, but to hold the demo order?
Hold the demo order, but table it for this meeting. While our law office works with the attorney.
So you made a motion to table it?
Correct.
Completely? Until the law officer will bring it back in July? Is that what you're saying,
Correct.
Counsel?
Yeah, somewhere between now and the end of the year.
So a motion's been made to table it, non-debatable. It's been seconded. Roll call.
Counsel Barton? Yes. Yes. Counsel Chakutis?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Calucci?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Field?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Hogan?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel LaPierre?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Lozey? Absent. Counsel Net?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Stabbit?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Walsh?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Seer?
Yes. Public hearings to be set down.
We have set down a public hearing to allow input to the city's 5-year consolidated plan and the FY 21/22 annual action plan.
What's the wish of the council?
Set it down.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Committee reports, utilities, Councilor Walsh.
Thank you, Mr. President. It was unanimous vote of the committee, motion approved.
Second. Motion made, seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Ways and Means, Councilor Net.
Yes, Mr. President, all unanimously voted by the committee to approve. I make a motion to accept.
Second. Motion made. Seconded. Before we vote and have a discussion, I'm going to ask the clerk to read all the transfers as well as the stipulations that were put on the transfers tonight. And I'm going to add one, so, but go ahead.
Okay. Do you want me to start with the ones that were laid over with that?
Yes, please.
So we have the laid over orders from June 8th, $1,800,000 to the account of Pickering School was approved with a stipulation by Council Seer to approve with the stipulation that the following councilors be on the Pickering Committee: Council Chakutis, Council Stabbit, and Council Lozey. The rest of the orders were all approved last time. And tonight's orders are appropriate $292,000 from the account of free cash to the account of supplemental reserve. Appropriate the sum of $25,000 from free cash to the account of CFO expense to be used for audit and consulting services. Transfer $9,210 from the account of reserve to the account of council payroll to fund a shortfall in salary lines for education incentive. Transfer the sum of $6,000 from the account of reserve expense to the account of library payroll to fund the shortfall in salary lines for education incentive. Transfer the sum of $5,100 from the account of reserve to the account of collector payroll to fund shortfall in salary lines for education incentive. Transfer the sum of $2,600 from the account of reserve to the account of purchasing payroll to fund the shortfall in salary lines for education incentive. Transfer the sum of $1,600 from the account of reserve to the account of law payroll to fund shortfalls in salary lines for education incentive. Transfer the sum of $1,210 from the account of reserve to the account of care of dogs payroll to fund the shortfall in salary lines for education incentive. Transfer the sum of $135,500 from the law department expense to the law department revolving account to fund pending settlements. Transfer the sum of $400,000 from the account of ISD payroll to the account of capital stab fund to fund the capital stabilization account due to a surplus in ISD school payroll. Transfer the sum of $40,000 from the account of parking meter receipts to the account of parking payroll to fund shortfall in salary lines due to emergency staff assisting in parking enforcement across the city and assisting DPW with street sweeping operations. Transfer $32,000 to veterans payroll to fund the staff shortfall due to negotiated additional compensation. Certifies an available fund the amount of $28,409,220 to the City of Lynn by the Department of Treasury for the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA. That order has a stipulation on it that 2 council members be on that committee to discuss how that money is going to be spent by Council Seer. Ordered that pursuant to Section 19 of Chapter 188 of the Acts of 2010, the City of Lynn, through the City Council, hereby approves the increase of a maximum base of COLA cost of living adjustment to $15,000 from the previous approved maximum of $14,000.
Okay, I just want to go back to that $28 million that the city is getting from the federal government. There are no rules as to how all the money can be spent yet, and the reason why I put that stipulation in there is because there was already a working committee that's been put together, and some councilors may have issues in their ward that has been ongoing for years. I know in my ward and in some of the others, there is an issue with flooding, and I'm just using that as an example. So some of this money can be used for infrastructure. It can also be used, which it is going to be used, for havoc in our school system, for better air quality and air conditioning. And I think when it comes down to how this money is going to be spent, that not only should we accept the $28 million plus any other monies that are going to come to the city, but I think that the council should also have a say, so I'm going to also make a recommendation that any money spent out of that 28 million over 50,000 needs to have council approval. That's what transparency is all about. And I mean, everybody may have their ideas how that money should be spent, but the council should be playing a role in that. Whether I'm here in 6 months and there's a new council and a new mayor, it doesn't matter. But the council and the mayor should be working together on how to spend this money. That is why I made that recommendation. I don't know if anybody wants to add to that or say anything. But a motion has been made. Councilor Lapierre.
Well, I'd just like to, Mr. President, thank you. It's the same struggle at the state level as well. When you're receiving such an influx of dollars, as you said the right word, there's got to be some accountability, transparency. We're the funding agents or the funding mechanism, if you will, for all city expenditures. This should be no different, in my opinion. So I think it's a prudent move to put stipulations like this. And as they, the governor and the legislatures are working their way through that process when they receive the money at that level, why shouldn't we be on the same page in appropriating the proper funding as you described? So I commend you, and I think it's a really wise decision to go in this direction by adding that stipulation. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Anyone else wishing to speak? Motion's been made, seconded, roll call.
Counsel Barton?
Abstain.
Counsel Chakutis? Yes. Yes. Counsel Calucci?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Field?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Hogan?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel LaPierre?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Lozey? Absent. Counsel Net?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Staben?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Walsh?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Seer?
Yes. Licensing.
Mr.
Councilor
President.
Walsh.
Mr. President.
Oh, I'm sorry. I do that all the time.
Take it.
Mr.
You have
President.
something you want to?
Mr.
Okay. Councilor Net.
Yes, there's emergency, all emergency.
There's
voted
been
by the
a
committee.
motion on emergency on all the transfers,
Yes,
correct?
sir. I make a motion for that. Yeah.
Seconded. Discussion. Roll call.
Counsel Barton?
Abstain.
Counsel Chakutis?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Calucci?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Field?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Hogan?
Yes.
Counsel LaPierre?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Lozey? Absent. Counsel Net?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Staben?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Walsh?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Seer?
Yes. So I just want to say, I keep saying Councilor Walsh every time I say
He
licensing.
can have license.
All right.
That's all
And
right.
I know Councilor
All
Field
good
is
press.
the chairperson.
He can have it.
I don't know what it is, Brian.
All right.
But licensing.
We thank you, Mr.
Councilor
President.
Field.
Thank you, Mr. President. We do have a unanimous vote by the committee. I make a motion to approve.
Motion made,
Second.
seconded. Discussion. Roll call.
Counsel Barton?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Chakutis?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Calucci? Yes.
Councilor Calucci?
Counsel Calucci? Yes. Counsel Field?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Hogan?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel LaPierre?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Lozey?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Net?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Staben?
Yes.
Yes. Counsel Walsh?
Yep.
Yes. Counsel Seer?
Yes. Before we move on to old and new business, I want to point out Council Barton. I know he gets mad at me when I do this. He's been working with the retirees, and I can tell you that, good job. That's all I'm going to say, all right? You did your job. Good job. Any old business?
No business.
Any new business?
I have.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion made to adjourn?
You have new business.
No.
You have new business.
We have
You have
plenty of new business.
We have new business?
He has new business, and
Tons.
I have new
We have
business.
tons of new business.
Well, he made the motion to adjourn. You didn't yell quick enough.
Jump
so-
the gun.
Go ahead, Councilor Field.
Thank you, Mr. President.
You are Councilor Field, right?
Thank you. I have an order that a public hearing be scheduled for July 13th, 2021 for a special permit to conduct a carnival at 810 Linway, Lynn, Massachusetts, to benefit the Lynn Fireworks Fund for 2022 or the DPW Park and Recreation Department. The hours of said carnival shall be Thursday, August 5th, 2021, and Friday, August 6th, 2021, from 5:30 p.m. until 10:30 p.m., and Saturday, August 7th, 2021, and Sunday, August 8th, 2021, from 1 p.m. until 10:30 p.m., and that's to be set down for public hearing.
Okay. Were you able to write all that down? No? Could you repeat? No.
Oh, yeah.
Motion has been made.
Second.
Seconded. Roll call.
Counsel Barton?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Chakutis? Yes. Yes, Counsel Calucci?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Field?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Hogan?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel LaPierre?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Lozey?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Net?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Starbed?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Walsh?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Seer?
Yes.
And I have four
And-
new business here.
More new
More new
business?
business. For a vote to advertise the following: an order rescinding $94,500,000 authorized an unissued portion of the $120 million school construction bond authorization. And I lost the rest of them.
Is that to be set down for a public hearing?
Per our charter,
There's
it must
four
be
of them.
advertised 10 days in advance of the July 13th council meeting. There is no requirement of the state law or our charter for a public hearing, but our charter does require anytime that the city's going to do a bond or undo a bond, the public has to be notified via the daily item.
So how much is the bond for?
There's three bonds before you, $2.5 million for a new sprinkler system at Gannon, $2.5 million for a new turf at Fraser and Manning Field, and $1.5 million for fire pumper trucks. And there was a fourth order looking to rescind any unused portion of the Thurgood Marshall construction. It authorized $120 million worth of bonds. With state reimbursement, you didn't come near that $120 million. So those are four votes that the chief financial officer is asked to advertise for a vote on the 13th. No vote tonight other than to advertise for a vote to discuss this on the July 13th meeting.
So what's the reasoning for rescinding the Marshall Middle School? It's over?
I believe we did not have to, this is more appropriate for Mike Bertino, I believe that we're not required to use up every penny that we allocated. We had to allocate for the whole thing,
Yep.
as the state didn't guarantee that the 80%, or more likely 60, 65%. So
Okay.
whatever was unused that we didn't bond, looking to rescind that vote.
All right,
And Mike Bertino, I'm sure, will be here on the 13th to explain it in much better detail than I can.
all right.
The other.
Thank you, Attorney Lamanna.
The other three are loan order authorizing $2.5 million borrowing for a new sprinkler system at the Gannon Golf Course, a loan order authorizing $2.5 million borrowing for a new turf field at Fraser Field and improvements to Manning Stadium, and the loan order authorizing $1.15 million borrowing for 2 fire pumper trucks.
It's the wish of the council.
Motion to set him down.
Motion made.
Second.
Seconded. Council Lozey.
Mr. President, just clarification, is this setting it down, or are we actually authorizing this vote?
It's to be set down.
The vote would be to advertise this at least 10 days in advance for the July 13th. The public, before you can bond legally, the advertisement must go in a local newspaper, which of course would be the
for a
item. of the
public
jury.
Will it
hearing.
come back to this body?
It will come back for the approval, yes or no, on the 13th. So you're not approving it this evening, you're authorizing it to be advertised for consideration.
So I assume our CFO, Mr. Bettino, will be here to answer any questions we have regarding it.
I would imagine, and the fire chief for the pumper trucks, and Andy Hall, as he's in charge of Gannon, Fraser Field, and Manning Stadium.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Motion's been made, seconded. Discussion. Roll call.
Counsel Barton?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Chakutis? Yes. Yes, Counsel Calucci?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Field?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Hogan?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel LaPierre?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Lozey?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Net?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Starbed?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Walsh?
Yes.
Yes, Counsel Seer?
Yes. Any other new business?
We're-
Nothing?
think
Council
we're-
Calucci.
Motion to adjourn, please.
Motion made to adjourn. Seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
nursing director, which was a question.
The new what?
Director of nursing in our district. And one of the